On the top lane, they're going to go straight in for this one. Shook going straight to the front. There's the ultimate. Going to go towards Candy Panda down to half. This is going to be the tower.
Tower goes down. Freddy Mega focused on his big tanky target right now. They're going to lock up onto Nif. But look at that. They just can't even take down the support. Explosive satchel, everything thrown towards Nif. And he just tanked through the whole lot. As Svenskeren piling on towards him, he just strolls away. No problem there. Alliance are way ahead of SK. And they can't even take down with a focus target on that support.
And they're going to keep trying to break through this one as well and just wait for a solid knockup, and they could end up diving straight onto this one. And Rated going to go a little bit lower from that. Freddy still a half HP. Wicked not too scared of either of them. And look at Alliance, they're tanking up all the damage. Going to sit in there. Froggen did actually flash away from that one, but Freddy now going to be focused. The inhibitor is going to go down. Jesus off to the side. Last seconds on his hourglass, but the Culling already running. That will get them the first. The rest of SK here though going to be ripped to pieces. Candy Panda just about gets onto the fountain at the end, but that is a 3-0 and surely the game for Alliance.
Absolutely fantastic performance, solid play from Alliance. They continue to hold top of the table. 9 wins and 2 losses now. Alliance take down SK game.
Really solid performance out of Alliance, and there was a lot of faith from you guys at home. We saw the LoL Esports vote earlier on, 77% I believe it was, and Alliance coming flying out the gate, starting with Froggen having such a solid early game. Jesus was dominated, to be frank, in that mid lane. Funnily enough, the CS by the end was around the same kind of totals that he was behind from that one before, but Alliance here showing that, alright, they lost out to Gambit last week, then they got that win, that base race win against Fnatic to kind of get them back on the horse and ensure that there was no mini slump to follow the disappointment of losing your 7-1 record. And they come back into today, taking down what is their biggest competition in the LCS right now.
Yeah, the start of a new win streak maybe. 2 wins now for Alliance. We'll see how far that can go, because overall, I mean, everybody played well. You know, Wicked was taken out of the game quite heavily. SK clearly targeted that focus to maybe put him on his back foot, but he held his ground, didn't get caught out, didn't get any sloppy plays. He escaped a couple of times. We saw Freddy doing the same thing as well. A lot of focus on the 2 top laners at the start, and clearly it was all about the mid lane in the end of the day, because solid performance by Froggen, way ahead of Jesus, 3 levels ahead of Jesus at sometimes in that game.
Well, we picked the featured matchup for the mid lane for a reason on this one, and we talked about Froggen. If you want to beat Alliance, you're going to have to shut Froggen down. Fact is, he was starting to run Rampage and dominate Jesus in the early stages. Okay, Jesus got, I don't want to say unlucky, because it was a well-crafted first blood from Alliance that, you know, swept them around the back. They were able to control him. He didn't even have time to flash away from that mid lane before he went down. And overall domination, but you rightly pointed out, across the board, Nif didn't die once, okay, no kills, but 11 assists by the end from the 15 kills that Alliance got overall. 7 kills on Froggen, 4 on Shook. There were 3 on Tabs as well. Overall, blanket good performance from Alliance.
And I also want to question, because a lot of the times SK will first pick Lee Sin. 4-0-10 for Shook on Lee Sin. Played brilliantly, fantastic stuff. You got to wonder why they let that one through. Maybe they're going to question it themselves. Who knows? The Jax also got through. A lot of choices that SK could have gone with, clearly worked out for Alliance. Yeah. For now, though, we are going to head over to the main stage where Shox is standing by with the man in the mid lane, Froggen.
Thank you very much, D-Man. Indeed, the man in the mid lane, Froggen. Receiver of a great applause here already. You can talk to them in a second. Let's talk about the game for a second. You know what? You can talk to them now. Let's start with how awesome it must be. I mean, you've been around the world. You've been in so many awesome places, but this crowd is giving you a warm welcome once again.
Yeah, it's really awesome. It's my first time I'm at a UK event, so it's really loud and it's awesome.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Of course, we had the crowd over in Paris. Now we have the crowd over in London. What are you thinking?
I think it's pretty even right now. oh, okay. Then show me what you got. Come on. Okay.
Well, they showed us what they've got, and you've also showed us what you've got versus SK Gaming. Great game from you guys. Talk us through the match in general. Seemed like you got all the picks you wanted because you picked them in the right order as well. It was very simple.
Yeah, we pretty much predicted every single pick they did, and it was very straightforward for us. They didn't try to contest anything we wanted in our comp. we played out the early game perfectly. We just tried to get fed. Like, if 6 doesn't get fed, then I get fed. We will auto win the game. And that's just how it happened with the early dive. They lost all the control, and we got all the objectives in the game.
Yeah, you talked to me about that early game, and obviously last week's fantastic game versus Fnatic. We saw in the feature, we were struggling actually a little bit in the early game. How have you tried to train on that specifically in this week?
It's more the decision making we have as a team and what we want to do in the early game. We are getting all that sorted out before the game starts, and we just try to, okay, we need to focus on this, we need to focus on this. If their team, they will try to do this with their team comp and all that kind of thing, so we can predict what they do compared to what we do and make up a great plan.
And you guys were absolutely explosive in this game once again. One final time, is there anything you want to say to everybody here? Everybody watching at home and supporting you guys for a long time now.
Yeah, thanks to all the fans, obviously, and to the amazing crowd.
Well, Froggen, thank you very much as well.
Okay, thank you.
Well, as the crowd is chanting Froggen, we are going to go over to the analyst desk where Trevor and the Fischer are standing by.
Welcome back, guys, and thank you for that game. It was phenomenal. Froggen very confident, talking about he predicted all the picks and bans, predicted the playstyle of SK Gaming. Picks and bans caught me a little off guard. I wasn't anticipating the Orianna ban. You know, so Jezz has played it frequently in the past, but definitely a champion they didn't want to deal with.
So I think it was more to take a comfort pick away from Jezz and also a very strong laner, especially if they wanted to play Yasuo here, take away the Orianna, don't want to deal with it. The weird thing for me was more the Nidalee ban from SK Gaming, especially because they have shown they can play the counters to it, so why do you actually take it away? And also here, in most cases, I mean, okay, sure, Alliance could have last pick Nidalee, but SK should have expected it, and I don't think they should have banned it.
Yeah, so interesting picks and ban phase. Alliance put together a composition that had a lot of split push elements with both Jax and Yasuo, and when Froggen plays Yasuo, he does tend to play that split push role as well as the assassin. The early game was all about Alliance. They had a great tower dive early on. They had complete dragon control, and there was absolutely nothing that SK could do to stop them.
Also because SK Gaming, they've shown in the past, when they played against Fnatic, actually, where Fnatic had a pick comp, SK, they play very passive. They wait for the enemy team to make a move and try to then punish them for it and therefore win the game. This time around, Alliance didn't do too many mistakes in the early game, which meant all the picks they could actually get here got them ahead early on, and they got all the objectives. Of course, even our very first replay, we can just pull it up on the screen, is actually where Alliance managed to get a pick here and therefore use it to get objectives.
Yeah, so this particular clip, we can just roll this one straight out. It was really the start of Shook and Froggen grouping up and working together to find kills. The thing that I like about Froggen is he doesn't hesitate to use this last breath, instantly throwing himself onto Svenskeren, and it was just well executed by Alliance.
And even also the fact they predict Svenskeren actually to be here, because if you look down the bottom lane at the moment, there's a very big wave pushing up to the tower. So they expect the Svenskeren to be there to try and dive onto whoever from Alliance was going to take this wave, and therefore they just move in, multiple members, find him, pick up a kill, pick up a second one, and take a dragon.
The thing that was interesting